Hello there! So, I ran across these pants while thrifting recently, and the color is what really caught my eye. Not only that, but I had this idea in mind for a while, and it wasn't until I put pen to paper that I realized I could pull it off. Let me quickly demonstrate. As you can see here, we have a basic pants pattern, and here's what I came up with. I started by removing the waistband, cutting a 1/4 inch from the edge so that I'll be able to reuse it. Afterwards, I separated the pant legs and opened half the side seams and removed the pockets. Now here's where things get a little interesting. So I first grabbed the inseam and placed it on the fold. After straightening it out, I flipped the leg so the back crotch was facing. I also did the same for the other leg. To recap, here we have what's now the back and front neck, the shoulder seams, and the center front and center back. Starting in the back, I pinned the halves together to form the center back seam and neck. I then quickly removed some of the bulk before fitting. In the front, I first temporarily pinned the wrap. With the front closed, I made some adjustments to the center back seam so it was laying flush against the body. By the way, I did repin the seam on the right side to make it easier to make the adjustments. As for the sleeves, I initially opened the pant side seams part way, but on fitting, I realized it would be easier to make the alterations if I opened them entirely. I then placed a couple pins along the sides to form the side seams. Okay, so here are the pins marking the side seams. I also placed a pin here because the fabric in the back was much shorter. Taking my design ruler, which again is optional, and my marking pencil, I outlined the armhole and sleeve. So I wound up making some changes to the sleeves because I wasn't satisfied with the look and I wanted to use up as much of the fabric as possible, so I went with a kimono style instead. From here I cut out the sleeve, leaving a 1/2 inch allowance. To cut the other sleeve, I used a scrap piece as a guide. Before sewing the seam, I quickly undid the hem. After sewing, I gave the sleeve a quick press and clipped the corners. Moving on to the front, since the back was much shorter, I cut the front diagonal to blend in with the side seam. I did the same for the other side. Before I could go any further, I first had to close the back seam. To do that, I removed the excess, leaving allowance, then repinned the seam with right sides facing and sew. With the back now closed, I finished to the neck and hem. I did this by turning the edge under twice and sew. For the straps, I gathered all the bits and pieces of scraps I had, then cut and joined a few. Here's the strap all done. One side was left open to attach it to the top. I went ahead and pressed the allowance onto the wrong side. Grabbing my tape measure, I measured the width of the strap, which measured 4 inches. In order to attach the straps, I pleated the center front until it was the same width. Once I was done, I sewed the pleats in place, then trimmed the ends. Taking the strap, I sandwiched the center front between the open end, stopping at the stitch line. I first evened out the sleeve hem, then grabbed the elastic portion left over from the waistband and cut it in half. Taking one half, I sewed the ends together to form a cuff. I then stretched and measured the cuff, making a note of it. To attach a cuff, I first sewed 2 rows of gathering thread along the hem. I then gathered it the same width as the cuff. For the final step, I aligned and pinned the seams and edges together, then stretched and sewed them in place. Afterwards, I serged the raw edges and that was it. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to catch a sneak peek of my next video, be sure to follow me on Instagram. Until next time, bye!